Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to The Man That Can Project with Lachlan Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to The Man That Can Project.
All right, welcome back, gents, to another episode. Super grateful that you guys are investing your time to listen to today's episode with our incredible guest. So my name's Lachlan Stuart and I'm your host, along with being a men's performance coach focused on helping you to take your life to that next level through my coaching and programs, plus all of these episodes with our incredible guests. So today's guest is an incredible man, as you'll hear with the intro. But before we dive in, I just want to quickly remind you guys, for those who have been avid listeners or for those who are first-time listeners, around the Man That Can Project's Inner Circle program. So it's available to men all around the world globally, and it's a program focused on helping you improve the 8 areas that all men must master, okay? But also helping you create momentum in those areas, because we know momentum and progress equal happiness, and being a part of a like-minded community of blokes who are prepared to share their challenges, what's working well for them, what's not, and just be open and vulnerable to allow us all to take our life to that next level is something that, you know, I don't take for granted being a part of, and I know a lot of the current members also love being a part of. So that's enough from me. You can find more out about that at themanthatcanproject.com/inner circle. Just head there. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can check it out risk-free. I look forward to connecting with you guys there. I would also just like to highlight before we start this episode, there is talk of suicide. So if you get triggered by those conversations or you feel you need support lines, make sure you reach out to Lifeline, Beyond Blue, or any of the other helplines. There are some helplines mentioned in this conversation with Wes. So just a heads up there. Now let's dive into the episode. All right, gents, welcome back to another episode of the Man That Can Project podcast. I'm your host, Lachlan Stuart, and I am sitting here with a man across the room that is, or has the cheekiest grin on his face, Wesley, Vasile, mate.
G'day.
Such a pleasure to have you on here, mate. I can't believe I thought we'd done something previously. Maybe I've been on your lives a few times.
Mate, yes, I've had you Facebook Live. I think I talked about our stats blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
The board was like, who's this Lachlan Stewart guy? Because our viewage went skyrocketing.
Did I have my shirt on or off?
No, it was on. I encouraged you to take it off, but I think it got dark and I couldn't see it.
Fair play.
Mate, I'm just smiling because of your mo. Actually, I was just admiring it because if you're listening to this, we're both doing Movember at the moment, and yours is a bit thicker and darker than mine.
Mine's definitely thick, isn't it? I just fresh shaved in last night, and it's already, the rest of the beard's already grown back almost. So it's pretty wild. But mate, it's an honor to have you on here, and I'm super excited because every time I'm fortunate enough to get to sit down with you, I learn so much. And I think every time I do get to sit down with you, and our first meeting, we'd cross paths, but our first real good chat was in the sauna at Functional.
Certainly.
And after that, we went for dinner. We've done a few things, mate. It's been awesome to watch it blossom. But for those who haven't met Wes is an incredible human, and I would highly recommend. What's your Instagram hashtag?
I'm just at Wesley Vasile, which is my name.
Yeah.
But then we'll get into the charity. The charity's probably the one to go to.
Yeah. I'll drop both of the links there so you can check him out personally and also professionally. But you're an incredible person and you're highly emotionally intelligent, but you also have a heart of gold, mate. And for someone, you see, you obviously, have your business in pest control, but you see just how caring and inspiring and, like I said, emotionally intelligent you are. It just blows my perception of what I would expect someone in that industry. And that's probably a bad judgment on my behalf, but from my experience in the blue collar workforce. So you're an incredible superstar there, showing people what's possible regardless of what field of work you are. But obviously your business is incredible, and I love getting to pick your brain about how you've achieved what you've done.
Yes.
But then also on the other side, you also you've got a whole heap of things going on, but you've also co-founded or founded? Co-founded MAF, Mental Awareness Foundation. Correct. And you have this incredible walk.
Yes.
Walk for Awareness, which last year, how many did you have?
It was this was our 10th walk, as in this year, for October.
COVID, obviously, sprinkled some.
So we had 1,200 down at Captain Burke Park, and we have been the first charity event that I'm aware of in Brisbane City that has pushed through the COVID restrictions without having any issue.
Can't be stopped, mate. Can't be bloody stopped.
No. You gotta just work with the rules. That's what we ended up doing. So, but it was 1,200 at Brisbane, but we had 600 Australia and worldwide. So we had 1,800 people walking for this year for COVID. Now, mind you, year 9 we had 3,100. So even though we've gone backwards in numbers, we've increased in terms of locations of where people are walking. Yeah. So last year we had people walking in Brisbane and Sydney. This year we had people walking in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Ballarat, Budgewoi, Toowoomba.
T-Bar.
T-Bar.
The boys.
They represented. They did to my Bebo clan up that way. Maryborough. We had people in New York that sent photos in. We had people in Germany that sent stuff in. So, yes, numbers were less, but locations were more. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very exciting for what's to come next year, because you've obviously, pivoted and added another component to what the Walk for Awareness can offer and where it can be.
Yeah, and that's where I think, when COVID first hit, we were shitting ourselves because we're like, how are we going to do an event?
Yeah.
However, and we didn't create this, but we just saw other organisations were doing virtual events. And we're like, well, we can do that. And the board made a decision that we would do the walk no matter what, because mental health is there's a resilience factor in there.
Yeah,
and picking yourself up and having a go. Yeah, sidestepping or just, working with what you've got in front of you. And we said that we would do... Brother, we would have had the event on even if we could only have 50 people there. We said we were going to do it, even if it was only 20 people there. So we said we were going to go through with it. Fortunately for Queensland, we've obviously done well with the vid, and we've kept it at bay. And obviously it went from a 4 square metre rule to a 2 square metre rule, and then our events outside. So we were able to have, we could have over... 5,000 people if we wanted to. So,
that's awesome.
Mate. So we
look out 2021.
Yeah,
but that's one of the things I am inspired about for you. It's when I first started business, it was a lot about money and helping me get out of my own way and stuff. But then, after seeing how you run things and you're so passionate about what you actually do, it's contagious, right? And the fact that you would still run the walk with 2 people is awesome, and it shows that you're there for the right reasons, not just for, I guess, the ripple effects that can come with running such a big event, right, and a big charity. So it's good to see that you're in there for the right reasons. I love it.
Thank you, brother.
Let's wind it back a bit so we can give everyone a sort of quick understanding, because I know we're also on here you've got some exciting things to share with everyone listening. So if you are tuning in and you're thinking about going into work or doing something else that's probably not as interesting as this, then hold on.
No, I'm holding this release, mate. So I've got my digital marketing team. I've told them they have to wait till I've done this podcast. So,
mate, well, let's get it out Thursday. What's today? Tuesday. Yeah, 2-day turnaround.
Yeah, if you can. I've said I'm waiting. I'm going to release it at the same time.
I can make it happen.
Good
mate,
man.
We'll get that happening. Anyway, back to before we release that exciting news. How did the MAF, the Mental Awareness Foundation, come to be? And, what's that journey been like for you? Because I'm sure it hasn't been easy. You're 10 years in. That's
10
huge.
years,
Most, whatever the statistics are, it's some phenomenal number of businesses and charities and organisations that probably don't even make the 2-year mark, let alone the 10.
Correct. Yeah, I think after 10 years, I think 80% of businesses have fallen over, let alone a charity.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know what the stats are on charities, but mate, no, we've got through. So, mate, 10 years ago, I was actually in Las Vegas, and mate, I was there for New Year's, and dude, talk about just having a ball, like absolute ball terror. Like, it's so much fun. I was at Mick Doohan's nightclub. He was there. Like, we met him and partied with him. I think it was called like the Pussycats nightclub. Yeah. Anyway, mate, just randomly met someone, went to the tables, won $3,000, came back at 6 a.m. in the morning, moonwalking through the Mirage, like just high on life, right? Just had a ripper of a night. Anyway, put myself to bed, woke up, and then grabbed my phone, and Australia's 18 hours ahead. So I was really interested in seeing, what had happened, because like we were behind in terms of the New Year's. So, mate, I was flicking through Facebook, and then all of a sudden, my mate Christian, who was one of my closest friends, he renovated my house. We've done a couple of surfing trips together. There was like a genuine police missing sign, like someone had posted, and I'm like, initially, you're like, oh, is that for real? Yeah. Or was it a joke? And just obviously reading comments and then sending messages, it was legit. Christian had gone missing on New Year's Day. Anyway, obviously search parties were out. Water divers were in the ocean looking for him. I of course moved on from Las Vegas. I went to Mexico just as part of my trip. And anyway, 5 days later, they found Christian. He'd took his life by suicide. It was 5 days until they actually found him. And it's pretty heavy, mate, especially with how they found him. So on the 14th of January, I'd flown home from my trip. I got in on the 9th. The floods hit. This is back in 2011. Came in, got off the plane, started sandbagging my house at Hurston. Anyway, on the 14th was his 31st birthday. He was actually getting buried.
He was only 30.
31. Yeah, he got buried. Got buried on his birthday. And, mate, it's pretty emotional. Obviously not being in Australia, but just friends in absolute disbelief. Like, could not believe it happened. And I sat next to another great mate of mine, David. David and I have done surf trips together, many things. And, mate, 3 months later, I was at his funeral because he'd taken his life by suicide. So in a space of 3 months, I'd lost two of my closest mates to suicide, and it was tough, brother. Like I've never, and I'm actually getting shivers now, but I've never had it shoved in your face so hard when it comes to mental health or death. Like I've lost my grandmother and grandfather when I was young, but I haven't had anyone, not even a family member or anyone, so close to just be gone. And I was confused, mate. I just couldn't. Like, obviously one, but to have two and both by suicide just slapped me and my circle of friends in the face. And it was a very testing time. So I was living in New Farm at the time, and my coping strategy was to get outside. Not that I was told to get outside. It was just me. I just had to get out and be in the fresh air. And obviously being in New Farm, you're close to the Brisbane River Loop. And I actually used to run the loop. I used to do that, and that was my strategy. And through that exercise, you can't help but take in the Kangaroo Point Cliffs, and then the Botanical Gardens, and the river itself, and then the amazing Story Bridge. It's such beauty. And I came back from a run, and I was just sitting in my office there, just literally staring blankly at my shoes. And just this wave of emotion came over me, and I'm like, I've got to do something. I've got to bring more awareness towards this issue of suicide. And then, mate, went down the rabbit hole of learning about suicide, and the first thing that I learned is that it's the biggest killer for men between 14 and 45. Like, it is the number one cause of death for men in Australia is suicide. I didn't know that.
I'm sure a lot of people listening aren't aware of that.
Yeah, and it still is today.
It's sad. And it's interesting because a close mate of mine took his life by suicide when we were 15. And
wow.
Yeah, and the way they found him, and he was signed with the Gold Coast Titans, Australian champion, 100, 200 metre runner, and no one talked about it. Like, he was on the front page of the Toowoomba Chronicle, and like, we didn't talk about it. No conversations were had, no explanation around what fucks suicide. Obviously, you knew he was gone, but I'd sit there at night and pull out the paper and cry about it, and then tuck it away the next day and show up.
Yes.
It's like, for years, no one talked about it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I'm a little bit older than you, but like, even when I was in my early teens or 20s, like, no one talked about mental health. Like, we were brought up in that age of, just suck it up.
Yeah.
You'll be right. Don't be a pussy type stuff. And I think, we fast forward a little bit, but I think that's improving because, we're allowed to talk about it. However, mate, I wanted to bring more awareness towards this issue, and I just wanted to create a fundraiser. And anyway, I remember contacting Beyond Blue, and I said, mate, I want to raise some money for you. And they went, oh, that's fantastic. Can you send me your email? And I said, yep, here's my email. And then, dude, they sent me this T's and C's sheet that was like so fucking long. And I'm like,
got too much other stuff.
Mate, I'm like, dude, one, I don't want to read that, and two, I just want to raise some money and give it to you. Like,
how hard can that? Take my money.
Yeah, just like take my cash. So anyway, brother, I said stuff it. I want to bring this walk to people. It makes me feel good, and I just want to bring more awareness towards this issue. But then also pay tribute to my two close mates. And, mate, I teamed up with my brother, who was a co-founder, and then another friend who assisted on that particular walk. And, mate, the only legal thing I did was book the park. I didn't know that you need a license for amplified music, and you need a license or permission to share the path. And anyway, ignorance is bliss, brother. And the event, we had 120 people come down.
That's awesome for that first one. Was it the inaugural one? That's incredible.
The very first one. And mate, people just really enjoyed the energy, and I think, it was just there was nothing, I guess, designed to pay tribute to people that have lost their lives through suicide. Or this, I guess, mental health awareness towards a walk. So we were sort of that pioneer, and people just loved it, mate. And anyway, we raised $5,000, and
that's quality. Well done.
No, it was cool, mate. I remember turning up with cash, so we gave $2,500 to mates in construction, which do a lot of work in the construction space. Anyway, we turned up with cash, and they're like,
"What is this?
Yeah, what is this?" Anyway, I'm a wog, so I'm like, "Hey, come on, you're not going to take cash?" And they're like, "No, we'll take it." I'm like, "Cool." Receipt?
Yeah.
So, mate, we did that, and then a lot of people were saying, please do this next year. And that gave us the energy to want to move forward and do it in that second year. The second year, we had 180 people come up. And then, mate, during that second and third year, we started to learn about the Story Bridge. Such a beautiful bridge, yet such an area of tragedy. At the time, the Story Bridge was the biggest hotspot for suicide.
In Brisbane?
In Brisbane.
Yep.
But no one knows about it, right? In 1 year, they had over nearly 50, they had 50 people jump off that
one
bridge.
A week.
Yep. So that's not advertised because of copycat situations, which I have empathy towards. However, if you don't talk about an issue, how are you meant to know about it?
Yeah.
So how we learned about it was my brother was out for exercise running along the Story Bridge, and a guy had a plastic bag, sniffed petrol.
Fumes or something,
Yep. Put the bag down and jumped right in front of him from me to 10 metres away, not even that. and my brother just stopped. I was in New Farm. My brother called me in hysterics. He's like, mate, I've just witnessed a guy jump off the bridge. I need help. And I raced up there, and we were both there, standing there. He tutors on the phone to the ambulance, and here is this guy on the concrete, mate, down below us, dead. And that was where we started to learn about the problems with the bridge. And in our third year, we brought a petition along with Helen Abraham, the local member for Kangaroo Point at the time. You might know her because you're in this area. We put a petition saying we want something done about this bridge. Now, issues with the bridge have been known since the 1970s.
Really?
Yep.
That's a long
and
time without change.
Yeah, we were the final push. In our third year, we had over 240 people come down to the walk, and we had over 240 signatures. And that petition was the petition to get the funding, was the final push to get the funding allocated for the fencing on the bridge, and that was over $5 million.
And it's interesting. I don't know whether I shared this with you because I remember we spoke about this previously when we've caught up, and I know there's a lot of people who don't like the fencing and the caging around the Story Bridge because it ruins the beauty of it.
Yes.
And I was of that thought process and mindset. And obviously I've watched the documentary, The Bridge, about the Golden Gate Bridge, and then after speaking to you about it, because and this is, me being naive, I was like, well, if they're going to do it, they're going to find another way to do it anyway.
Yes.
So, take it down and let it be what it is. But then when you think about the effect of, what your brother saw and then what you saw and the ripple effect of that.
Correct.
It's like, but it's also then allowing that moment in time for people to pause and think a little bit longer, because 9 times out of 10, that might make them realize, or someone can get to them, or there's so much benefit behind it.
So the issue, and I totally agree, it's not a nice looking structure. However, it's a necessary structure from the perspective that the means of the Story Bridge at the time was just too easy. It was just too easy for someone to just walk, and the height of it, just over they go, right? And there's research out there, and I'd love to be able to quote it, but I've just read about it, that if you can slow someone down for a minute, as in
the logic kicks in.
The logic kicks in, but they have second thoughts.
Yep.
And that's where it stops or can save. And yes, maybe if they're determined, they'll go, they'll move on.
Definitely.
And I totally get that. However, I don't know the stats, but my understanding is since the fence has been in, they haven't had an issue.
Yeah. But do you think about as well, like the conversations that's created now about mental health and suicide, which is incredible, right?
Yes.
But then also, you've created this event which people are going there for that specific reason, right? You've created a space which most people don't have in their life, where mental health and suicide awareness is the topic of the day.
Yep.
So you get educated, you get to hear real life experience, you get to chat to someone who may open up for the first time. It's such an incredible thing that you've done, including, what you've done for the bridge as well. It's unbelievable.
Thank you, mate. And I guess that carried into our third year. Our fourth year, we had 600 people come to the event.
Doubled.
Our fifth year, we had 1,200 people come.
Doubled again.
And then it goes to 1,800 to 2,100, 2,100 to 2,400, 2,400 to 2,900, and then ninth year we had 3,100 people, and then this year we had 1,800.
Yeah.
Over that period, mate, we've raised over $1.5 million.
Wow.
For mental health.
That is unbelievable.
It goes to where the Mental Awareness Foundation is a charity itself.
Yep.
The event is an awareness driver, so we spend money. Money goes towards promotion of our message of suicide prevention and mental wellness. But we also donate money to charities on the front lines. So, should I go on to the exclusive?
Mate, I'm ready.
And we have to be slightly conscious of time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, please like or share. But if you are in the mental health space, we have $100,000 that we're giving away. And if you're a charity or an organisation with an ABN, and you have a mental health program that you need grant funding towards up to $25,000, you can submit through our website, mentalawarenessfoundation.org.au. Just go to apply for a grant and you can send it to us and we will evaluate that.
That's
so
awesome.
we have waited for this. So out of the 140,000 that we've raised this year, over the next 6 months, we're giving away $100,000 to mental health.
That's incredible. That is fucking phenomenal. And that's the ripple effect of, what you've created, right? You're directly impacting it, but also indirectly through now giving back through conversation, and now to a point where you can, support other people in their mission and being able to give back and educate and, do whatever they're doing on the front lines. From what you've seen, obviously, you're heavily involved in the space. Is there some key things that you feel are missing that maybe some people that are listening or know of people that are listening may have services or programs or anything for? Is there anything that you feel is deeply needed?
Yeah, mate, honestly, one thing that I think it's peer-to-peer support.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, there's phone services and chat services, and they do incredible work. However, just from my experience, there needs to be that peer-to-peer support, that one-on-one.
Yep.
The issue with one-on-one is it's time-consuming.
Yep. And
it's expensive. However, it's something that's completely necessary. We support an organisation called Suicide Prevention Pathways.
Okay.
And mate, they literally are a very small organisation, but they do fantastic work and they do peer-to-peer support. And how they support, it's not like they'll obviously listen to you, but their whole premise is building up a support network around you.
Yep.
So it's not just them that you'd reach out. They will connect with people that you love or you feel safe. Yeah. So they want to they call it that spider web, right? They want to. So if you fall, they'll catch.
Yep.
And mate, they'll meet with you, and it's free.
That's unbelievable.
So last year, I think we donated $30,000 to those guys.
Wow.
And if you're listening to this and you'd like to, if that's something that resonates with you, you can actually just go straight to their website and donate. Suicide Prevention Pathways. But they're a fantastic organisation, and if Shana, if you're listening to this, you do incredible work. Your team, they just the connection level, the empathy level, and they're just a very caring team, mate. So, to answer your question, what do I think's missing is it's that peer-to-peer. Yep. However, there's many facets, mate.
Definitely.
There's some great stuff that's coming out. So, however, this is where we want, if you've honestly got an idea, please just send it through. Like, what's the worst that can happen is just, maybe you spent 5 minutes filling it out and it didn't get ticked off, but you never know.
I always find that for myself whenever I fill out an application or something like that, it's exciting because it makes me get more clarity around what it is that I offer and deliver. There's because otherwise I probably wouldn't do it. And what I mean by do that is take the time to get clear on what it is that I'm doing and how I can improve what I do. So I think for anyone listening, if you are or know of someone that would love to apply for the grant, just get them to do it because it's going to help you with your business or your organization or your charity moving forward. It's a fun process that you should probably be doing regularly anyway.
Correct. So, mate, it's the elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
So you need to practice that elevator pitch and if you have a genuine idea that you want to get out, yes, maybe, the board doesn't necessarily go for it. However, at least you've written it down. At least you've taken the time and you can ask for feedback too, right? So, I know we'd be more than happy if someone's like, okay, well, cool, what was the feedback?
Yep.
We'll give that to people, right? So you learn from that. So, mate, 100% agree. If you've got something that, if you think it's silly, but it's worth having a crack, do it because it's a lesson, right? And that's how we learn.
100%. And I guess two more questions before we wrap up. And you'll give me all the details of all, for those who are listening or whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever. The links are all in the show notes. Wave to the camera. They're all in the show notes, so you can find all that sort of stuff there. Or do you want to just say it on air as well?
Yeah, so...
okay, some people are driving.
Hands on the wheel.
Eyes in front.
on the stick. Oh, God. Listen, you can just, in terms of checking us out, we're on Instagram. So Walk for Awareness, you'll find us on Instagram. Website is obviously the best place to go and is the place to go for when it comes for the grant.
Yep.
So the mentalawarenessfoundation.org. .au, I think, or is it .org? Anyway, it's one of the two. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Cool.
However, the website's easy. There's a section there about us, and you just go apply for a grant, and then you just pre-fill it out. It's super simple. If you want to know more about us as well, we are on Facebook. Actually, I must say Facebook's probably our main communication tool for our charity, and that's just Walk for Awareness. It's the mental. God,
is that many? No.
There's that many. No, we are the Mental Awareness Foundation on Facebook, and we've actually got a really beautiful community, Lockie. It's very supportive and interactive, and that's where we promote most of our material or messaging. And then, listen, you can find me at Wesley Vasile on Instagram as well. If you for some reason you can't figure it out, just send me a message and I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction.
100%.
But that's those are our communication areas.
Perfect. That's awesome. So guys, if you're sitting, once again, everyone who always listens to this podcast, we're about taking action and taking control for what you want from your life. And if making an impact in the mental health, suicide prevention, awareness space is on your mind or something you want to be doing, then I would highly recommend, getting over and giving this a crack, because, it could be the one thing that helps you create the impact that, you want to have ultimately. But before you go, where do you see MAF going over the next 5-10 years? Like, what's that look like for you? Do you have a vision for what you want to be able to do? Give more grants, have the walk?
Yeah. Oh, brother. Yeah, I think you made it. We want it in most major capital cities.
Yeah.
The fortunate thing is now that we are virtual, or we have a virtual element, mate. We want to just see it uptake in pretty much any city.
Yeah.
So we just want to develop a rural package where, someone, let's say if you're living in T-Bar, and you're like, hey, I want to create a walk, and hopefully the COVID restriction rules are not as strict as they were this year, but you can meet at a park, so we can designate a park where, say, Lockie's knows the
Queen's Park,
the hill, mate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, up the hill. I've actually been spending some time up in Toowoomba, mate. It's a great city. Yeah,
phenomenal.
So Queen's Park, and then we get everyone to encourage there, and we're also saying it doesn't have to be 8 kilometres. It can be just what it is or what works for the group, right?
Yeah, phenomenal.
It's more coming together. So, mate, we want to have more virtual walkers taking us up, and then have infrastructure in most capital cities, so Sydney and Melbourne, and then Adelaide, and go from there. And then, brother, the sky's the limit. We want to get across. We want to get into NZ as well.
Yeah, I can link you up with some boys over there.
Yeah, man. But that's how it starts, brother.
Yeah.
It all starts from someone knowing someone, and then obviously it's someone that relates to the cause and wants to pick it up and run with it. So
I think
we're excited.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're right.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of people that reach out to me, then they want to know how they can help.
Yep.
And it's like, sometimes the best way to help is just actually attending a walk, or, where you are listening from right now, you might already have things happen in your local community. So it's actually the time.
Yep.
I believe showing up and supporting these things is more important than, constantly reaching out and asking if you can take something off my hands. I'd rather just show up and support someone else, or share a post, or just keep spreading that awareness, because when people know that you're open to having those conversations, your mates are more than likely going to have that conversation with you. Yep. So I think, rather than asking how you, it's always great to ask how you can help, but I think the best way to sort of get involved is to get involved.
Correct. And mate, participation is one of the things that we encourage people to do, because when you start participating, and that could be just pressing like or pressing share, right? Once you start participating in something that is meaningful for you, it gives you purpose. And as you say, in regards to time, mate, dedicating time is a beautiful thing, because you're giving back to your communicating and you're participating, and particularly when it's a cause that you feel worthy or connection with, mate, you're giving back. And that's what I think one of the things in life is giving back.
100%. You cannot not feel happy when you do something nice. Even one thing that I've been actively doing is, it's easy to send a text message or an email.
Yes.
Like that's simple and it's quick. But when was the last time you sent a note or a letter to someone, or did, I leave Amy notes on the bench, like things like that may take you a moment longer. But when, imagine if instead of getting a text message that you may have got today, 7 days later, something arrives in the post for you from a mate saying the same thing, but it's like the effort that they went to write it out, that he licked the envelope and post it. Like sometimes that's nice, and that's like connection. Like that makes you feel really valued, and all it takes is an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, and mate, we're coming into Christmas. What a great way to
throw a few candy canes in there.
Yeah.
Jeez, you've won me over. 100%.
I love candy. Anyway, but mate, no, that 100%. It comes back to that time and effort, and just to close the loop in terms of if anyone does want to support, listen, it's like or share on Facebook. Or on Instagram, and then when the walk comes up in October and you want to get involved, we just encourage you to encourage as many people to register and get online and get a MAF shirt and walk in solidarity.
100%. And just one last takeaway.
Yes.
What is probably the biggest lesson you have learned throughout the last 10 years of MAF? What's that been for you?
Mate, I'll say it's MAF, and because I'm big into personal development. Brother, the biggest thing that I've got out of MAF and personal development with doing all the courses is vulnerability and sharing. And where that ties in is having the courage or the vulnerability in sharing how you're truly feeling when it comes to any situation. And that's what I've taken away, because once you start being vulnerable, you can really connect with people, and people will connect with you on a very emotional level.
Yeah.
And particularly in this mental health space. And then just other quickly, mate, it's just empathy. Empathy is another big one.
Yep.
I've been particularly because I've got 30 staff worldwide. I need to. Yeah, we'll do a podcast too, which I'd love to talk to you about business, mate. Yeah, just showing empathy. It really does. It actually takes charges off you, and you get to see the other side. Of course, you want things to go your way, but if you can actually have empathy, you can kind of mold situations.
100%. Well, mate, appreciate you making the time to come here, and it's exciting.
Thank you, man. Thank you for making the time available. And as I said, ladies and gentlemen, I have kept it for this podcast because, mate, I respect what you're doing and your effort to consistently put out content, brother. I take my hat off to you because I know that we do it. And it's a lot of work. And, mate, well done, because you are just chipping away, man, and you are creating something great. And I wanted to save this because I thought this was great and it needs to be on a great podcast. So
I appreciate that, mate.
My pleasure, brother.
So, guys, if you're still listening to our beautiful voices, or if you're watching, you can see our delicious mows. Make sure you check out or, share this on your page, because there might be people who are doing things in your community, especially online. We don't know really who's watching anymore. That may have something cool that they're working on that the grant may have a significant positive impact on. So make sure you please take some time to share that and share this episode or the YouTube with people that would get value, because as much as there was that exciting grant, people can benefit so much from hearing your story, or, that's a small part you just shared there. I'd love to get you back on to share more. But thank you guys for listening.
Cheers.
Appreciate your time and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks for taking your time to sit and have a listen. That was an incredible conversation to be a part of, and also very exciting that that grant's available. So if, like we've mentioned multiple times, please share it with your page, and just share this episode with people that would get benefit from hearing a little snippet of Wes's story and how the Mental Awareness Foundation started here in Brisbane, and where they're going with things and how they're really giving back to those who are also looking to make their mark. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate your time and energy, and have a great week, blokes, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.